Wow! We've got new queens of women's doubles!
On August 30th, 2025, the world's #1 team, Anna Bryte and Anna Leigh Waters, were defeated in the women's semifinals against Tyra Black and Georgia Johnson. And this was their first ever defeat since they reunited as a team in April 2025. And at the time, many had predicted that this power duo was going to go through the rest of 2025 undefeated. But it didn't just stop there, because 2 weeks later, on September 13th, 2025, the #1 team lost to the underdog team Jade and Jackie Kawamoto, who eventually went on to win the gold medal of that PPA tournament. So what is happening to the power duo? Why did they lose 2 PPA tournaments back to back? Is it just luck? Or perhaps there's something deeper. Perhaps the other teams have figured out how to be the #1 powerhouse, Anna Leigh Waters and Anna Bryte. So I went on a mission with the goal of finding the answers to these questions using numbers and statistics, and I was able to uncover things that you would not be able to find anywhere on the internet right now, at least not for free. And I can't wait to share with you what I've just uncovered, because once you see it, you'll be shocked just like me. You see, one of the things that Anna Leigh Waters and Anna Bryte were known for is their aggressive playstyle, their ability to be able to speed up the ball whenever they want without disguise, and that is because they can back it up with their fast hands. But what happens when they play against teams that have equally, if not faster hands than them? Or perhaps playing against teams that have even more kitchen hands battle weapons than them? What do? Now you might be thinking, how is it even possible to have faster hands than a #1 and #2 player in the world? Well, I didn't believe it either until I saw the result of my own analysis. But before we dive into the kitchen hands battles, let's first look at the performance of the first 5 shots and what strategies the other teams used against Anna Leigh Waters and Anna Bryte. First 5 shots is so fundamental to the game of pickleball, and it's what's actually going to help you to make it to the kitchen in the first place. If you're somebody who's struggling with the first 4 or 5 shots, I previously released a video demonstrating a drill that I used a lot to help me improving my first 4 shots, and it carried me from a 3-0 player to a 4-0 player. I'll leave the link to that video down below in the description for your reference. The table you're seeing is the accumulated stats of all 6 players, starting with the serves. Except for Jackie only missing 1 serve out of a total of 30 serves. Everyone else had a 100% success rate on their serves. Perhaps this shouldn't be a surprise at all. The reason why Jackie missed that serve was when the match got tighter and tighter, she tried to serve differently from how she normally does it. The key learning for me here is that during the critical moments of your tournament, don't try to do anything different from what you normally do. This can help you reduce unforced errors. Now, moving on to the return of serves. The numbers here again show why these players are the best in the world right now. Not a single return was missed by all 6 players, and that is a total of 205 returns. Not a single miss. And this is not the most impressive part, because these players weren't just trying to hit the ball in. Each team actually had a very clear return strategy, targeting a specific player on the opposing team. In both of these matches against Anna Leigh Waters and Anna Bryte, that is a total of 6 games. Anna Bryte was the very clear target in terms of the person being returned to. The other teams returned to Anna Bryte 77 times in a total of 6 games, and that means 78% of all of the returns were targeted towards Anna Bryte. And this also helps explain why Anna Bryte took way more thirds than Anna Leigh Waters. And as for the other 2 teams, that is Tyra Black, Georgia Johnson, and the Kawamoto sisters, they also each had their own target in terms of the returns as well. For Jade and Jackie, 64% of the returns were targeted at Jade, whereas for Tyra and Georgia, 80% of the returns were targeted at Tyra. And I think targeting the return to the right person matters a lot, especially at the top level pickleball. I think it really helped the other 2 teams set up their wins against the #1 team in the world. But I do want to clarify here, there's no doubt that both Anna Bryte and Anna Leigh Waters are great players. They both have good transition games, and they can both poach aggressively at the net. So this begs the question, why the other teams targeted Anna Bryte with the returns? Well, the short answer is that if you're not targeting the number 2 player in the world, then you gotta be targeting the number 1 player in the world. So the answer is very simple. But jokes aside, to answer this question, we must first understand the impact of returning the ball to a specific player and what you're hoping to achieve by doing so. When you're targeting return to a specific player, usually because you think that person sucks at their thirds and will make a lot of errors, but that is clearly not the case here. As you can see from the numbers, both Annalie Waters and Anna Bry have very similar success rate on their thirds. But the difference here is that Anna Bry drops a lot of her thirds, and her third shot drops, in general, are higher and slower. And this, in my humble opinion, makes Anna Bry's thirds less threatening and easier to deal with. Whereas if you look at Annalie Waters, she actually prefers to drive most of her thirds. And also being the number 1 singles player in the world, her drives can definitely be very threatening. Even on the thirds where Annalie Waters chose to drop them, her drops were typically more aggressive, a little faster, and depth lower below the net, making her thirds in general more threatening and more aggressive to deal with. The second reason, and the more important reason, why I think Anna Bry is the better target is because Annalie Waters' ability to hit high quality shots while on the move and even at times being off balanced, and this allows her to achieve 2 important things. Firstly, if she takes the third shot, she's the one who has to stay behind near the baseline. However, with her ability to hit balls while moving, combined with her fast movement, it's relatively easy for Annalie Waters to hit running drives or running drops, allowing her body momentum to move forward while hitting the ball. This helps her to get to the kitchen faster after she takes the third. Even if she hits a bad third shot and she has to stay back for a few more shots to defend near the baseline. With her incredible movement and agility, also her ability to hit good balls on the move and being off balance, this essentially increases her court coverage, which is critical if you're stuck near the baseline or in transition. It helps you to make more balls, and eventually when you do hit a good enough ball, it allows you to move closer and closer to the kitchen. Now in contrast, Anna Bry has the tendency of hitting her third shot drops with a vertical hop step and sometimes even leaning backwards. This tendency of hers actually prevents her from being able to step through the shot with forward momentum, therefore wasting valuable time to move up after hitting a good third. In comparison to Annalie, Anna Bry's court coverage is smaller at the back of the court, and by keeping her at the back, the other teams have a better chance of stopping her from getting to the kitchen before the rally is over. In fact, my data seem to back this theory up. A total of 37 third shots were taken by Annalie Waters throughout the 6 games, and her team got to the kitchen 29 times after Annalie Waters taking the thirds, and that is 78% of the time. Annalie Waters was able to get to the kitchen with her team after she took the thirds. On the other hand, Anna Bry took a total of 61 thirds, and they only got to the kitchen as a team 43 times when Anna Bry was hitting the thirds, which represents 70% of the time. That is 8% lower than when Annalie Waters took the thirds. Now, 70% is still very high, but when you're competing at the top of the game, the difference of 8% is big, and it's big enough to win or lose you the game. Because at the pro level, most of the points are won or lost at the kitchen. Pros are trying to get to the kitchen at all cost. Do you agree with my analysis here? Comment your thoughts down below. And if you're a pro player and you're somehow watching this video, I would love to hear your thoughts about my analysis, whether you think this makes sense if you were to play against Annalie Waters and Anna Bry. I do think one adjustment for Annalie Waters and Anna Bry to consider is by potentially stacking Annalie Waters on the left on their serves, because this could potentially allow Annalie Waters to be more aggressive on the left hand side of the court and coming over to take more of the thirds from Anna Bry's side of the court. Do you agree with this recommendation?
I started using Lost paddles back in March 2025. I witnessed how Lost continued to improve the quality and performance of their paddles over time, and my own game also improved with Lost paddles. The new Lost Cannon and the Lost Pro 4 series are amongst my personal favorites, and I have been using them in tournaments, drills, and lessons. Not only they come with the power and spin that's required in modern games, their large sweet spots make them very forgiving for players of all levels. What's even better is the fact that as of October 1st, 2025, both the Lost Cannon and the Lost Pro 4 Inferno are dual approved by both USAP and UPAA. You can use these paddles to play any amateur or pro tournaments. And the craziest thing is, if you use my discount code JUNG on the Lost website, you get 15% discount on everything, which brings the Lost Cannon paddle down to just $92. And I challenge you to find another dual certified paddle on the market that plays as well as the Lost Cannon for less than $100. If you have more budget and would like to get your hands on a paddle that can rival any other paddle on the market right now for less than $200 using my discount code, and it's also dual certified, I highly recommend the Lost Pro 4 Inferno, and you'll love the sound of it hitting the ball. These paddles also come with a standard 1-year warranty for your peace of mind. Thank you, Lost, for supporting my journey.
Now, let's transition into the third shot performance. This is where most errors start to occur, and we also start to see differences in terms of the styles between the different players. Things like what they prefer to do on their third shot. Do they like driving or drop more? So, except for Georgia and Jade, who managed to maintain 100% third shot success rate, the other 4 players each missed 1 third shot. But in general, all players had impressive third shot success rate of over 96%. What's really interesting here is that despite all of them being at the top of the game, their preferences for the third shot is very different from one another. For example, Annalie Waters drove 70% of all of her thirds, and her teammate Anna Bright only drove 35% of all of her third shots. Even for the twin sisters, Jade and Jackie, who are genetically supposedly very similar, they showed a clear difference for how they played their third shot, with Jade driving 65% of her third, and Jackie much preferred dropping her thirds, with 68% of her thirds being drops. Then we have Georgia, who dropped 100% of all of her thirds, whereas her teammate Tyra took a much more balanced approach, who almost equally divided her third shot drops and third shot drives. But overall as a team, Georgia and Tyra dropped 63% of all of their thirds. Now remember this number, because later on, this number is going to help explain one of the key reasons why the other 2 teams beat Annalie Waters and Anna Bright. Now as for Jackie and Jade as a team, they dropped 50% of all of the thirds, which is very similar to Annalie Waters and Anna Bright, and the number 1 team dropped 52% of all of their thirds. So now let's dive a little bit deeper and look at how often each team were able to get to the kitchen after their third shot drives and third shot drops. For Annalie Waters and Anna Bright as a team, they managed to get to the kitchen 70% of the time after they drove their thirds, and their success rate of getting to the kitchen after they dropped their thirds was quite a bit higher, sitting at 76%. In comparison to the other 2 teams who beat them, the number 1 team's ability to get to the kitchen was worse in both categories. The Kawamoto sisters managed to achieve an impressive 85% success rate of getting to the kitchen after their drives, and that is 15% higher than the number 1 team. Crazy, right? Whereas for Tyra and Georgia, they still managed an impressive 75% success rate of getting to the kitchen after they drove their thirds. Not quite as impressive as the Kawamoto sisters, however, that is still 5% higher than the number 1 team. Where Tyra and Georgia really shined was their ability to get to the kitchen after they hit their third shot drops, and their success rate of getting to the kitchen was as high as 82% after they dropped their thirds. Now if you recall what I just mentioned earlier, Tyra and Georgia as a team, 63% of all of the thirds were drops. A team clearly prefers dropping their thirds than driving the thirds. And I think that's very smart, because when you look at their chances of getting to the kitchen between their third shot drives and third shot drops, this team was playing to their strength. They're dropping more, and their ability to get to the kitchen was more successful. Combining the 2 together, that's gotta be a winning recipe. Even though Jade and Jackie didn't do quite as well in terms of getting to the kitchen after they dropped their thirds, they still hit an impressive 78% success rate after they dropped their thirds, which makes it 2% higher than Annalie Waters and Anna Bright. By the way, if you're still watching this video at this point, I just want to thank you for your undivided attention, whether you're a pro or amateur player. If you believe this type of analysis can help you improve your own games, follow me on Instagram and reach out to me. We can discuss how I can help you improve your own game through similar analysis. The other stat that's closely associated with players' ability to play the transition game is the 5th shot performance. Out of all 6 players, with only 90% success rate on a 5th shot, Anna Bright had the worst performance on a 5th shot out of all 6 players. In total, she missed 5 times out of a total of 50 5th shot that she took. And sitting at 91.6% 5th shot success rate, Georgia's performance was similar to Anna Bright. However, the difference here is that for Georgia and Tyra as a team, Tyra took a lot more 5th shot than Georgia. With Tyra's impressive 100% success rate on a 5th shot, that really helped to keep the overall 5th shot success rate high for Georgia and Tyra as a team. Whereas for the number 1 team, Anna Leigh Waters took significantly less 5th shot than Anna Bright. So the overall 5th shot performance was worse for the number 1 team. As for Jade and Jackie, they were both absolute beasts. Not only they almost equally divided the number of 5th shot each took, but they both managed 100% success rate on a 5th shot. And that definitely explains why their ability to get to the kitchen was so high overall. And like I mentioned before in one of my videos, I think 5th shot is probably the most difficult shot in pickleball. And if you're trying to go beyond 4 or 5 level, getting good at a 5th shot is a must. And you can see that even in the pro games. Now we did skip over the 4th shot. So let's quickly go back and look at the 4th shot performance. Anna Leigh Waters and Anna Bright hit almost the same amount of 4th shot, and both of them maintained an impressive 100% success rate. However, one thing to point out here is that the other teams were evidently targeting Anna Bright on their thirds, with 62 of the 3rd shot going towards Anna Bright. But Anna Leigh Waters did a great job at taking some of the slower drops going towards Anna Bright's backhand, therefore equalizing the number of 4th shot actually took by Anna Bright and Anna Leigh Waters. Speaking of targeting, Anna Bright and Anna Leigh Waters also had a clear target on the other teams as well. So when they played against the Kawamotos, Jackie was the primary target. Jackie was targeted 33 times. She actually took 4th shot 33 times, whereas Jade only took 4th shot 15 times. They each missed 1 4th shot, making their success rate 93% and 97%. As for Georgia and Tyra, the number 1 team selected Tyra as their primary target. Tyra took a total of 38 4th shot, whereas Georgia only took 10 4th shot. With 3 misses from Tyra, sitting at 92% success rate, she had the worst 4th shot performance out of all 6 players. All 3 of her misses were due to failure to defend against drives. As for Georgia, she had a 100% 4th shot success rate. So again, great job by Georgia. And I wonder if that's also the reason why Anna Leigh Waters and Anna Bright did not target Georgia on her thirds. Instead, they targeted Tyra. What do you think? Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. Now we've covered the performance of the first 5 shots by all 6 pro players, and we now understand why Anna Leigh Waters and Anna Bright lost both of their matches, and it was due to the poor performance at getting to the kitchen. And the first 5 shots is so fundamental to the game of pickleball. It's what stops you or brings you to the kitchen. But getting to the kitchen only tells you half the story, and the other half depends on what the teams can do once they get to the kitchen. So to help me better understand that, I watched all 267 speed-ups. I analyzed each hands battle by all 6 players throughout the 6 games, and I recorded how each player initiated each speed-up and how successful it was, and which player was the primary target for the other team to attack on their speed-ups, and how well each player defended the attacks from the other teams. And I can't wait to share with you all the interesting discoveries, things that helps to explain why the other 2 teams were able to beat Anna Leigh Waters and Anna Bright in hands battles at the kitchen. If you like this video, do me a small favor by hitting the like and share button, and if you don't want to miss out on the next episode of how to be the #1 team, be sure to subscribe to this channel. And this is Jiang from Backpaddle Pickleball.